we will just show you some simple knots. There's not too many in rope access. We've got figure of 9s, figure of 8s, alpines, bunnies and stopper knots. We're looking to make one turn, changing hands, keeping the shape of the knot all the time, so like that, round the back, and then we're putting it through the hole. Dead simple, figure of 8 knot. Okay, so next on the list is a figure of 9 knot. So again, we're keeping both sides of the rope nice and neat and parallel, keeping the hole open, and then instead of going through the front like we did on the figure of 8, we're just going one more turn and then through the back. Nice and neat and parallel, nice strong knot, comes undone once it's been loaded quite easily. Next on the list is the alpine butterfly used for, we use it on a rope to rope, and we use it for joining 2 anchors on a Y hang as well. So we're starting with a long line of rope, we're making a twist and pulling it out between our fingers. Important that we keep this shape here, and then we're crossing both sides of the rope, taking the middle bit. I can swap hands at this point, okay? And then I reach round the back, keeping the shape, and I can put it through the middle again. See, I'm always keeping the middle open so that I can keep the shape of the knot, keep it nice and neat, all right? One alpine butterfly. Next we're going to do the bunny knot, used for joining 2 anchors together when they're quite close together, okay? When they're further apart it's more of a problem, but when they're close together it's perfect. We need quite a long bight of rope for this, all right? So depending on how far apart your anchors are, we start with a figure of 8. So that would, if I pulled the rope through there, just be a large figure of 8, okay? But what I'm doing is pulling a bight of rope through until the loop gets to the end, and then we take the bight over the top and then seat it. The bight of rope that comes over the top, it's important that it seats on top of them there, okay? Nice and neat and parallel, so you can see exactly what's going on. And then we have 2 loops to clip into the anchors. Okay, so next we're going to have a look at putting our cow's tails together. Cow's tails we use for aid climbing and work positioning, okay, and tasks on site. So we're going to get a piece of dynamic rope, find our 2 ends, and we're going to pull them through until we find the middle of our 2 cow's tails, okay? In the end, we're then going to tie a simple granny knot, okay? An overhand knot, or a lot of people call it a granite knot, simplest knot you could tie. So we have that in one side, and then the same in the other side, okay? Then we just check to see that both our cow's tails are knots of the right length, okay? Then we're going to take the 2 ends and put them down through the centre of our D-ring. We're now going to retie our overhand knots, okay? So they're threaded around the D of the harness, okay? So we're going to take the ends and pass it through the overhand. As it comes through here, it's staying nice and neat and parallel with the knots, okay? So it wants to be nice and close, and then it's coming round the back, still following this loop here. Keep it coming, still nice and neat and parallel, and then through at the end. Okay. That was one side, so we're going to do the same again on the other side. So a re-threaded overhand knot, so we're going to find our end. Following it through, following this one, nice and neat and parallel, coming round. And then back through. So once it's tied, you can see, seat it up, nice and neat and parallel, okay? We don't want our short cow's tail too long, so that's kind of about the right length. It'll change for certain operations, but certainly for training, that's about perfect. The barrel knot is the knot that we use to tie our cow's tails into the carabiners and then into the connections. Okay, so we want to start about halfway down, give yourself plenty of rope because we can adjust it later. You always need more than you think with the barrel knot. Thumb pointing upwards, and we're just going to take a bite of rope and pinch it in your hands. Your thumb, once, twice, and on the third time, we're putting it back down where the thumb was and pulling the loop upwards. It's a little bit like a clovitch, but it's going around a bite of rope. So it's pulling tight upon itself like that. And then we take a carabiner, clip it into that, and then we're going to seat the knot up nice and tight.